Hello everyone, my name is Julie and I am one of the marketing coordinators with the BCIT School of Health Sciences. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this information session for the Food Technology program. First off, I want to say how happy we are to see you all and thank you for attending our presentation today. Second, you may post your questions or comments into the chat during the presentation. We will address as many questions as we can near the end of the presentation in the Q&A segment. And third, please keep your microphone and video turned off until the end of the presentation to reduce connectivity issues and interruptions. This is greatly appreciated. Just before we get started, I wanted to mention that BCIT acknowledges that our province of British Columbia is located on the homelands of 203 distinct Indigenous nations and cultures, with over 30 different languages and close to 60 unique dialects are spoken in the province. We ask all participants reflect, acknowledge, and honor in their own way the First Nation land on which they live, work, and play. I have already said I'm Julie. We have Jesse Taylor, Program Advisor, Darren Ton, Marketing Coordinator, and Program Head Aaron Friesen here with us today. Darren's going to start by playing a video, and then Aaron will take over with the program presentation.
Great job.
We have been making wines, and today we finally get to bottle it and drink it and have different flavors that different groups made. I chose food tech because you get to learn everything about food, which is like so exciting. I love being at BCIT and being part of this program.
Basically, food technology helps students work with food manufacturers to make food that is safe to eat and is of high quality. So here at BCIT, we teach the food technology students how to develop and implement the food safety and quality systems that are going to run. And we also teach them the various test methods for supporting those food safety and quality programs. Students that graduate in food technology work with food safety programs, and so they're trained to develop and implement them. These are very significant programs now for the food industry. And so our students are really capable of carrying those programs on and expanding them.
At the packaging line, we have to make sure that the product is at its highest quality and also that we're producing at the most efficient rate. So I love my job because I get to control the quality of the product and to meet the highest standards. When I started in the food industry, I realized that what I learned in the program actually is what I'm going to do. So you're prepared for the job.
The best kind of student for food technology is somebody that really cares about food. So somebody that might like to experiment with food, producing it and working with it. Just being that close to the food that we're producing, it really makes you feel good about what you do for a living.
All right, thank you guys very much. I think PowerPoint should be shared again. So I'm Aaron Friesen. I'm the program head for the food technology program at BCIT. I have been at BCIT for 12 years. And we have a 2-year diploma. And so I'll be spending most of the time talking about our 2-year diploma. And near the end, I'll also talk a little bit about our part-time studies and some of these certificates that we have available in our part-time studies. So as the video talked about, food technology is primarily studying sciences and how sciences apply to food. And what a food manufacturer is interested in is making sure that their food is not only safe to eat, but they also need to ensure that their product is high quality and consistent from batch to batch. So we are training individuals to work in a food manufacturing facility and think about all the foods that you might find in a grocery store. So you would likely end up being employed in one of the manufacturers that's making food that then's being sold in a grocery store. So in our program, we teach students about how foods are made. So we have food processing classes. We teach students how foods are analyzed. So we have both chemistry courses that are looking at, nutritional qualities, so looking at vitamin C content, but we're also looking at texture. So in this picture here, you'll see a student that's analyzing the texture. It might be a dough ball there. We also have microbiology, so we need to ensure that the foods are safe to consume. And we have a product development course, so the students are developing new products because a company may want to launch a low salt version of a product or a new flavor. So students can often end up in research and development jobs where they're developing new products. But majority of the students do end up in quality jobs. So every company is going to have a quality department that's ensuring that the product is meeting certain quality aspects. So you're inspecting the raw materials as they come in, you're inspecting the product as it's being produced, and then you're also inspecting the product before it leaves the facility. So that in a nutshell is food technology, but every food is unique and every food is different. So there's actually lots to learn and always learning new things in food technology. So food technology is for you if you're curious and fascinated behind the science behind food. And I found my way into food technology because I liked sciences, but I had no idea really what I wanted to study in particular when I was studying sciences. And then one of my first jobs actually ended up working in the brewery industry for Molson Breweries. And from there, I realized that there was a whole career involved in studying foods. So if you're interested by science and want to understand how that applies to food, this program is for you. If you are process oriented and accurate, so ensuring that food manufacturers are following processes is really key to ensuring food safety. You need to be able to work both independently as well as part of a team. And you need to be interested in working in an exciting and fast-paced environment. So on the production floor and the food industry, things are always changing and you need to be able to adapt quite quickly. So in order to get into the program, high school graduation is the minimum entry requirement for the program, with a few courses that you would need to have finished. So chemistry is one of the courses that we have as a requirement. You need to be interested and have an aptitude for science, and you need to have an interest in learning more about food and helping make sure that the food that we're eating is the best that it can be. Next slide. So the program overview, as I mentioned, it's a 2-year program and it's full-time. So this is with our diploma. It runs from September until May. So you'd be in the program for 2 years, and classes run approximately 8:30 to 4:30. And with those classes, very hands-on. So we have lectures, and then with the lectures, we have a handful of labs. So almost every lecture has a lab that goes with it. So there's lots of learning that goes on in the labs. We train students in the basics of food technology, food processing, quality control, food analysis, product development. And at the end, we do a capstone. Actually, we do 2 capstone projects. One is a product development capstone project where you develop a new product, and we try and tie that to a particular food company. So you'd be working to develop a new product for a food company. And then we also have a second capstone project, which is solving an industry's problem. So if a company has an issue with their shelf life, or maybe they're wanting a new product launch, or maybe they're wanting to improve their food safety plan, you'd be working with a food company to solve their problem. So that's another capstone project. It's a year long. It's in the 2nd year of the program, and it's an excellent opportunity to combine everything that you're learning in our program into an industry project. So our program is a combination of lectures and labs with lots of hands-on. And then, as I mentioned, we have that industry-sponsored project, both in product development and our directed studies project, we call that. For career outlook, most of our graduates get jobs within 2 months of graduation, and you can find these statistics on our website, and it will show you, it surveys all our graduates from the last 3 years, and it tells you how long it took for them to get jobs. And the historic data has shown that most of the graduates get jobs within 2 months. In British Columbia, the type of food manufacturers you might be working for can be small startup companies. So we do have some small mom and pop businesses with only 5 employees, and then they begin to grow, and you can be there with them growing. Or you could be working in quite large dairy, meat, some of the bigger food processing companies. So it does range in the type of food manufacturing facility that you could end up working in. but all the grads are supporting the work to ensure that the food that they're producing is safe. And with the applied work from this program, you'll find that you have the skills that the employees are looking for. And that's one of the things that industry has always commented on, is that our grads are well prepared for the job. Just a profile of some of our previous grads. So Andrew and Elia were graduates from our program from maybe 7 years ago. Time is passing so fast, but one of the projects they did while they were a student here at BCIT was in the product development class. They developed a fermented chickpea product. And from that project that they did here at BCIT, they then launched their own food company, which is Tempeh, and you might now see Tempeh available in different stores. And so they took their concept that they developed here and actually have started their own food manufacturing facility. So that's a successful profile of some of our previous graduates. And another testimonial here from one of our grads from 3 years ago, I believe. And what he says, Andrew says, is I chose to study food tech studies at BCIT because I wanted to utilize both my past educational experience in sciences and my interest in cooking. As with most programs at BCIT, the practical labs were the most enjoyable aspect, but I also really enjoyed the product development course in the second year, which is what I'm aiming to do later in my career. So he is currently now employed in the produce industry. And so he's working for a company. He's actually in quality still at the moment, but always the opportunity to get into product development later in your career as well. So admission into the program. So we start the program, the 2-year diploma, every September, and applications begin for this program in October. And we will take applications on a first to succeed. So if you meet the entry requirements and you apply October 1st, you would be given a seat into our program. And so we'll continue taking applications until the program fills up. So depending on the year, we may fill up, earlier than later. At the moment, we still do have a few seats available for the next September entry. So if you're interested in applying, there are still seats available. Applying earlier, however, is recommended. So if you're thinking of applying for the program in a later year, do keep in mind that we begin taking those applications in October, and we take the applications until we're full. And then at that point, we then maintain a wait list for anybody who applies after that. So the application process, once you submit the documents, BCIT will review the requirements as well as the reviews the requirements. You need to convert the files to PDF, and you do this through a website called applyonline@bcit.ca. So in this particular program, some of our entry requirements, we do require you to be proficient in English. Industry does require you to be able to communicate with the production staff, to be able to communicate with management. So having good English skills is important to being successful in this program. So as a requirement, English 12 at 67%, or English First Peoples 12 at 67%, or 3 credits of post-secondary is what we're looking for. Our program does require a number of chemistry courses, and with food analysis, we do require you to have an understanding of chemistry. So chemistry 11 at 67% is an entry requirement. And then a number of our courses also require you to do math. And so pre-calculus 12 at 67%, or math foundations 12 at 73% is a requiree into the program. And to be successful in the program, as I was mentioning, having strong communication skills is important. Having an interest in analytical work, being able to pay attention to detail, having strong problem solving and decision-making skills, and then being able to work in a team. So in our course, we do a number of team projects. And then also when you're working in industry, you'll be working in a team. So having those people skills will be important to succeeding both in our program as well as in your careers. So for the transcripts, you'll need to upload a digital copy. There's different options there. Mailing in your transcripts is not recommended. If you are a BCIT student who's interested in applying for this program, then you do not need to upload the transcripts because we'll already have those. So as I mentioned, we review the applications as they come in. If a seat is available and you meet the requirements, you will be offered a seat, at which point, in order to secure your seat, you will need to pay a commitment fee. So our program is a 2-year diploma. So you'll see that as the orange little bar there. And there are opportunities if you're interested in continuing on to do a bachelor's degree. There's a few laddering options that are available at BCIT, and there's a few options that are available outside of BCIT. But just to comment on a few of these laddering opportunities. Some of our students go on to pursue a Bachelor's of Environmental Public Health. So that is a inspection program where you'd be inspecting restaurants, inspecting swimming pools, inspecting beauty salons. And so it relates to the food industry in that they are inspecting both restaurants and they're inspecting small food manufacturers. So becoming an inspector is an option through that program. However, some students also from our program, if you have a degree already from another place, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency will be hiring the food technology graduates as well. They will hire diploma students, but they will likely prefer you to have a degree, which is why some of our students then go on and do another degree after they finish our diploma. 2 other options for laddering at BCIT is there's the Bachelor's of Technology Management, and another option that's available is a Bachelor's of Business Administration, a BBA. So BCIT has a BBA that's a 1-year accelerated program. And if you complete 3 courses after you complete our diploma, you are then able to enter into the Bachelor's of Business Administration as well. So that's an interesting option for students who are wanting to get into management, or so you understand how the food industry works by taking our program. And then if you then want to manage a food manufacturing facility or get into operations, having that BBA is a great option. Now, before I go on, we also have, if we look down from the orange bar, we have some part-time options. So if any of you guys are interested in knowing more about our part-time options, we have a number of courses that you can take. You don't have to declare yourself in any program. You can register for these courses as they're available. So we have some food safety courses, which is called HACCP, Hazard and Critical Control Point Analysis. And you can take these HACCP courses. 2 of the courses will get you micro certificates. And so we have a micro certificate that's available. We also have some of our part-time courses that are in a joint micro certificate with the University of British Columbia. And we also have a food safety associate certificate. So depending on how many part-time study courses you want to take, at the smallest, we have 2 courses will get you a micro credential, so micro certificate. And if you take 4 classes, combination of BCIT and UBC courses, you can get a micro certificate. And then if you're wanting to take a full 7 courses, 7 to 8 courses, you can then get the BCIT Food Safety Associate Certificate. So if you have questions on the part-time studies program, please email me and I'm happy to give you more information on the part-time studies available. But most of this presentation is geared towards our 2-year diploma. And then should you have a degree and then want to do additional studies, there are masters available. So MBAs available for students who then want to go on and do a master's degree.
Thank you, Erin.
No problem.
Okay, now moving from the academics, I would like to let you know that BCIT is committed to supporting students in a holistic sense. That means we want you to succeed not only in your academics, but also outside of school. Some of the student services are available to you as a prospective student, and some of them are available to you once you become an enrolled student. Here are some of the important student supports that I'd like to mention. If you are Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding. BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. I'd like to mention that we have a President's Entrance Award. Selection is based on academic achievement, but also on volunteer and community service. please contact financial aid directly for more information. We are committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. If you have been accepted to a program and believe you may need accommodation to be successful, I encourage you to connect with our Accessibility Services Department. BCIT's Health Services is a health clinic located at the Burnaby campus. They provide medical care for current BCIT students year-round. We have a counseling and student development department available to help you enhance your educational performance and maximize your success as a student at BCIT. Our Recreation Services Department promotes, encourages, and enables the practice of physical well-being. There is a gym that you can have intramural sports in, a climbing wall, boxing classes, a gym with machines that you can, use for weightlifting or strength training, cardio. There's also a track outside, and we consider recreation an integral part of the campus life and welcome you all to enjoy the services. Program advising. We have Jessie here who will be answering questions in the Q&A. But if you don't get a chance to ask your question today, you can contact this department in the future. They are able to answer questions regarding entrance requirements, the application process, student resources, success strategies, program schedules, and many other details. They are available to assist you on specific days via telephone, email, or by in-person or virtual appointments. Please go to their webpage at bcit.ca/advising for their most up-to-date contact information and service hours. If your inquiry is time sensitive, please call them during the telephone advising hours. This is the best option to get your questions answered quickly. Our social media, we encourage and invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn. If you want to visit the campus, spend a day, come to a future info session in person, or learn about other programs, these are all the links that can help you. I'd like to open it up now for any questions that we may have.
Julie, can you flip back a slide for a second?
Sure.
I just want to highlight here that if any of you are interested in coming to BCIT and spending the day, there's the link right there on the right-hand side. That's an option for you to join our existing students and follow them to their classes and participate in the labs. And it's a great way for you to get a taste for what our program's like if you're interested in understanding what the students learn. And then also, which is not listed, Food Technology also has an Instagram account, and we try and update pictures of our labs. So if you go and check our Instagram account, it will give you a good idea too of different things that our students are involved with. We try and manufacture different types of foods. As you saw in the video, wine, we do ice cream making, we do yogurt, we do bread manufacturing. So we try and expose the students to a variety of different industries. And so you might get a taste of that by joining our Instagram or checking out our Instagram page.
Erin, we can put the handle for that in the chat so that people can go directly and take a look at it.
Awesome.
I think Jesse's answered all the questions in the chat. If there's anything else, please feel free to take your microphone, to turn the mute off and to ask directly or just put it in the chat. But Jesse's answered like several questions already.
Yeah, I was just going to double check with Erin to make sure that I got the correct capacity. Is it typically, do I have it right with, is it roughly 11 domestic students and 12 international?
We now, at this point, we no longer have a cap on domestic versus international. So for this year, it's just now at this point, whoever applies would be granted a seat regardless if you're domestic or international. 23 is our cap with the extra. So we used to be 21 and we take 2 extra students, and now we just say we're 23. We don't have the ability to go above 23. So 23 students, and there's still for the next year a handful of spots available for the September 2023 start. So there is no master's in food technology at BCIT. I'm not aware. Darren or Jesse, is there any masters at BCIT at the moment?
There's a couple of masters offered at BCIT, not presently, I don't believe, within the School of Health Sciences, building science, and something related to School of Business, if I'm not mistaken, digital media, I believe.
Now UBC does have a Master's of Food Science, but if you were interested in doing the UBC Masters of Food Science, you would have to have a degree. So you could complete our diploma, but you'd also somehow either you do it before or do it after the food technology diploma, you need to have a degree before you could then ladder into a master's. Some of our students, if they have the degree, they can then also consider doing a master's of business. So there's different options for what master's you do, but you would need to get a degree as well as the diploma. So I encourage any of you, if you have questions, to reach out to me personally. I may not be able to answer specific questions if you're looking for advising on if you've met our entry requirements. At that point, I would then forward your questions to program advising. But if you have any questions about our program, what we're learning, if you think the jobs might be what you're interested in, please email me and I'd be happy to answer your questions or get on a Zoom call to, answer your questions more specifically.
Aaron, no chance you happen to know what the domestic tuition fees are offhand, roughly?
I don't want to take a wild guess and throw a number out there and be off. I'd have to check the website. Like I know international, I believe, is just over 10,000 a term. And I think domestic is around 3,000 a term. But like I said, I'm just taking a wild guess on that and I don't want to be incorrectly quoting the wrong number.
Appears to me, it looks like it's roughly just shy of 14,500 for domestic students for the total 2 years.
Yeah, for the full 2 years.
And transit fees still need to be added to that total. So.
All right, with that, a copy of the slide presentation and a link to the recorded video will be sent out to all registrants sometime next week. There are more info sessions all week, so feel free to join any or all of them. Thank you for being with us today, and we wish you all the best with your future in health sciences.
Thank you.